Hello, buddy. This is Purge, bringing you guys a replay commentary. How are you guys doing? I'm back from the Frankfurt Major. I had a ton of fun. It was it was a very long tournament, but it reminded me a lot of like TI2 and stuff like that, and just overall a very pleasant experience. Got to work really hard, and I got a lot of camera time, and I think that I improved a decent amount. So I'm pretty happy. Anyways, I asked on Twitter yesterday what heroes you guys want me to play next, and there's a poll option on my website. I'll link it in the drop down box if you guys want to vote as well. But I chose the top hero, and the top hero was Elder Titan, which I was actually really surprised about because he's like one of the fourth least played heroes in the entire game. But there's a lot to talk about him. He's very interesting, and I made a game of him. Other heroes that are currently on the top, I'll just go off like 8 of these so you guys know what heroes you'll likely see soon. Elder Titan and Invoker were tied for first, and then we have Tusk, Terrorblade, Vengeful Spirit, Rubik, Ember Spirit, Winter Wyvern, Enigma, Earthshaker, Wind Ranger, Batrider, Chen, Brewmaster, Odie, heroes like that. So a bunch of random stuff, a lot of heroes in the top tier meta right now, and things like that. So before we get into the actual game, what we're going to do is go over the Dota buff stuff. So if we hop over to Dota buff, there's a cool, interesting change here showing meta trends that'll show the win rate of the hero depending on what MMR he's played at, which I'll show you that in a second. But to go over the basics first, Elder Titan is a very weird hero. He basically amplifies your team's damage, assuming you do either magic damage or physical damage. If you do either of those, he does more damage. Due to his aura natural order, it lowers the base armor or the base resistance. Base resistance reduction up to 33%, and the base armor reduction up to 100%. So what that means is, you know, when you look at a hero, he has an armor value, it's in white, and then it has a green plus number under it. So if they pick up a plate mail, it says, let's say 10 plus 10. So what natural order removes is that base number. Let me use different numbers. Let's say the base armor is 7, and then you get a plate mail that's plus 10. Natural order would reduce their armor by 7 because it only reduces your base armor. So the kind of heroes this is really good at against is heroes that build a lot of agility items, or agility heroes with really good agility gain. Because those heroes often don't purchase armor items because they're naturally very tanky just by having agility items. And then you come over with an Elder Titan and you stand next to them, and all of a sudden they have 0 armor. It's amazing for damage amping physical. Damage amping your magical damage is also very good since it does reduce the base resistance by 33%. It's actually a damage amplifier in that case because normally everybody has about 25% magic resistance. So that's the core of Elder Titan. That is the important part to remember, is that this aura allows you and your allies to do way more damage, okay? So your other most important skill is Astral Spirit. You send out a spirit which you can control independently, and you can move it wherever the heck you want. And it basically has a small AoE around it, and it walks through things. It doesn't worry about trees or anything. It just walks over everything, up cliffs and stuff. And as it passes through things, it does damage to them, up to 150. And then after the duration of 9 seconds, or 8 seconds, sorry, it will fly back towards you. And I don't know if it says what speed it flies back, but it flies back to you. And however many heroes and creeps it passed through before it gets back to you, it gives you a damage bonus and a movement speed bonus. So you get 5% for every hero and 1% for every creep that it runs through. And you get up to 15 damage a creep and up to 40 damage a hero. So if you think about this, sometimes you'll pass the spirit through like 4 heroes, and all of a sudden you have 160 damage for 9 seconds. It's a huge damage skill, but its primary use is... it's not really, in the early game it's damage, and it's scouting, and it's harass. In the late game it's more fishing, but another cool thing about the spirit is it also has your aura. So basically the aura is only 275 radius. It's big, but it's not huge. You can basically throw out the spirit on people that are taking damage, and they will take extra damage. And again, a lot of extra damage. So that's basically where Elder Titan is strong. He also has another ability called Echo Stomp, which you can use on your hero. It's a channeled ability for 1.6 seconds, and as you're channeling it, it's also channeled where your spirit is. So what you basically do is you send out your spirit, you wait until you find heroes, and then when it's on top of them, you channel Echo Stomp, and it basically sleeps them. And in this case, what sleep means is it makes them not be able... It's kind of like stuns, basically. It's a stun where if you take any hero-based damage from your opponents, then you wake up. I don't know if you can dispel it or not. Not sure. But it does, 110 physical damage. It's decent damage. It's not amazing. It's just basically damage. But the important part is the sleep, because it allows your team to set things up. And it allows you to set things up as well. The thing it lets you set up is your ultimate. It's called Earth Splitter. It shoots out this giant crack in the ground, and after 3.14 seconds, It explodes and pulls people towards the crack and slows them for 4 seconds at all levels. 30% movement speed slow with 1 skill point, and slows for 3 seconds. And it also does 35% of your max HP. It does a shitload of damage. And this does magical, I think. It used to do parts physical and part magical, but I think now it just does magical. But the important part is that you're buffing it with natural order. So if it does 35% of somebody's HP, and you're lowering their magic resistance toward in the negatives, that means that it's basically doing a ridiculous amount of damage, because every 1,000 HP you have, it does approximately 350 damage. Plus it gets amped a little higher than that because of reducing their magic resistance. So your goal is basically in the late game, you run your spirit around, you echo stomp 3 heroes, and then since this lasts for 5 seconds, it gives you enough time to throw out your Earth Splitter, which takes 3 seconds to go off. The Earth Splitter lands, boom, big explosion, big damage, and then the team fight starts. So it's a very good ability. Okay, that's your skills. This skill build is actually pretty close to accurate. You can go different. Well, actually, I guess that's not true, huh? Okay, this build is awful. Don't do this build. I confused it. You do max out Astral Spirit first, but you're going to need at least 1 point of Natural Order in the early game in most cases. Kind of depends how you want to play it. As recently as ESL New York, Puppy was playing a support Elder Titan, and he actually did get a lot of levels of Echo Stomp, but I believe he got 1 Spirit with maxed out Echo Stomp with some Natural Order. The most common build, the way to play Elder Titan in the past, was to max your Astral Spirit and to max out your Aura, and to even skip all other skills until you get that, because the entire goal was to get as much damage as possible by the Spirit, to have it do as much damage as possible, and also to have as much aura as possible. That way you can basically chase people down in the early game. So the correct build, at least in the past, again, this hero is essentially unplayed in the pro scene, so I'm going off of old knowledge here, but you max out Astral Spirit, and you max out your aura if it's situationally strong. And sometimes you do want to get some Echo Stomps early, but you have to remember that early Echo Stomps don't do that much until later, because keep in mind you need at least 2 levels of Echo Stomp for you to be able to land a reliable Earth Splitter. You have to have 2 levels because it takes 3.14 seconds for it to explode. Generally, you kind of need 3 levels of Echo Stomp to do that, but you can get away with it with 2, or you can get away with it by having an ally that has a setup. So those are your combos. Get stats late game, obviously, but basically max out this, get 1 skill point in Earth Splitter, maybe early at 6, maybe later at 10 or something, and then you start maxing out Echo Stomp. And keep your Earth Splitter at level 1, because the only difference is the slow duration and that the slow amount. That's it. The damage stays the same. This is an ultimate that you definitely want to leave at 1 skill point, because it doesn't really scale that amazingly. Okay, so that's skills and general things. Most used items. A lot of these are awful. Tranquil Boots is your go-to. Tranquil Soul Ring is pretty much always the way you build. The reason Tranquil Boots is so important is because you will be casting a lot of Astral Spirits. It's on a 16-second cooldown, and it costs 110 mana, so you'll very often need Soul Ring to afford that. The reason Tranquil Boots are so important is because your armor's a little low. You only have about 4 in the early game, so Tranquil Boots will give you an extra 4. The other super important part is the fact that Tranquil Boots give you 90 movement speed for a mere 1,000 gold. This is important because the speed at which your spirit runs is the speed that your hero is. So you're more able to land your spirit to chase people down, to apply aura to them. It's better if your spirit is fast. So movement speed items are generally pretty good on the hero. You also don't really need that many damage items because you've already got Astral Spirit to buff up your damage. So in some ways, Tranquil Boots serves all the purpose. You could maybe argue for Power Treads because that gives you attack speed to leverage that damage that it gives you. But as a whole, Tranquil Boots Soul Ring is the go-to. Other very good items, I like Drum of Endurance a lot. I built it this game. Things like Crimson Guard, it has a high win rate, but I'm not a huge fan of this. I don't generally think that this is the item that Elder Titan needs to be amazing, but it would help you be more aggressive in melee range and attack people, so that's kind of cool. Aghanim Scepter, just ignore most of these. These are mostly all bad. I like very few of these, really. It's basically Tranquil Boots, Soul Ring, Drum of Endurance, and then you build something else. Heroes you're good against. These margins are very, very small, but the main points to look out for is the fact that Phantom Lancer buys a lot of agility items, so you can render his agility down to nothing. Winter Wyvern, I'm not really sure why Elder Titan is good against Winter Wyvern. Chaos Knight buys some agility items, he's got illusions, you can deal with him. Lone Druid has a lot of armor on his main hero, so you can basically reduce that to nothing. I have no idea why he has an advantage against Earth Spirit and Slark. A lot of these are very, very small. Once advantages are around 2%, you're basically saying, you know what, that's not that much. It's a very, very small advantage. Heroes you're bad against, Nature's Prophet, I guess makes sense because he can sprout you and you don't often have a Quelling Blade. And some of these other heroes are basically heroes. Lycan doesn't have to worry about getting disabled, basically. But these numbers are also small. I don't want to talk about heroes you're good or bad against. The important thing is that your hero is better against some heroes, but more you want to combo it with your allies in most cases. Preferably you grab Elder Titan in lineups where your allies do a mix of magic damage and a mix of physical damage, and preferably sometimes with some minus armor strats, because Elder Titan can and does reduce armor by more than any other hero in the game, pretty much always, especially with nothing. They like if you've got an agility hero who has a ton of agility items and he's got 30 agility, Elder Titan reduces his armor by 30 with only 4 skill points. It's amazing. So that's the thing that you have to look for. You're good against Morphling, Phantom Lancer, things like that. It's damage amp and it's good at it. Okay, so to go over some other things, this is a new tab that I just found on DotaBuff. It's called Hero Meta Statistics. So it basically shows you what the win rates are for every hero depending on what their MMR is. So for example, where's a good example? These bolded means that is their highest percentage. So for example, Lion at the 2 to 3k MMR bracket has his highest win rate out of all the brackets. But if you look at 5k, it's slightly lower. So to look for Elder Titan, Huskar, by the way, 56% win rate at over 5k, but at low MMRs, he's only at 47. Necrophos has a 59.65% win rate at 1k, but at 5k, he's only got 54. Still very good, but not as good. Here's Bristleback, 41% at 5k. This is a really cool tab. I assume you guys can look at these too. I doubt you need gold to look at it. Let's take it let's find Elder Titan. He's all the way at the bottom. So at 1k, he's got a 51% win rate. At 5k, he's got a 46. It's pretty low. It's not horribly low, but it's kind of low, I would say, is the best way to describe that. Earth Spirit, 57% win rate, above 5k. Maybe he truly is OP still. Very strong hero. But I don't know if there's very many more. Could I filter it by 1%? Earth Spirit, Omni Knight, Huskar at the 5k mark. This is interesting. So the top meta picks apparently, guys, in pubs. Anyway, so Elder Titan has a 46% win rate. If I take a look at my games, I've played him 20 times and I have a 65% win rate. So I honestly feel pretty good at Elder Titan, and this confirms how I feel about him. Alright, let's hop into the game. Turn this off. We'll go black screen for just a second, and let's do it. Got Thanksgiving coming up tomorrow. Hope you guys are ready for that one. I'll try to push out another video before we get there. Just have to leave somebody a message really quick. 1 sec. Gotta be like 10 to 15 minutes late to the meeting. Okay. Let's speed this up. I was playing with Ami this game. He played support and I played Elder Titan. This is my, I believe, second Elder Titan game recently. Another issue with Elder Titan is he's really bad against some heroes. So for example, against Ursa, Elder Titan is pretty bad because you don't have disables. Yeah, you can lower his armor, but if they do a lot of single target physical damage, then you kind of just get blown up and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. So you gotta be careful how you play the hero. Heroes that I'm good against this game, good against Bloodseeker, because Bloodseeker has a lot of agility gain and he usually buys agility items, so I can reduce his armor a lot. That part's pretty cool.
Juggernaut.
Really good against Juggernaut as well, another hero that buys a lot of agility items, so I got kind of lucky in that they picked into me. Picking a Dazzle and a Shadow Fiend together with me means that we have 3 sources of minus armor. Very good damage output. I like Elder Titan with Legion Commander as well, because it allows me to... Oops, free camera. Because it allows me to basically, if he jumps and duels somebody, then I can throw down my Astral Spirit and enhance the damage done to him. So as these pretty standard starting items here. Salve Tango, Stout Shield. I've got a Mango in case I need it, and an Ironwood Branch. It could maybe justify a Clarity Potion, but because we're dual laning aggressively, I think it's better to go for an Ironwood Branch, which is why I picked it up. Damio is anticipating coming down here. So, I'm really fast, 315 movement speed. So at this point, I'm basically just looking... I'll select my hero a little bit here. I'm basically just looking to harass as much as possible. I got 20 damage from my Astral here, and I'm pretty fast over them. I got a little lucky there and dodged the Gale. This is pretty much what you do as Elder Titan. I would have liked to see maybe a Shadow Wave out of Dami here. Again, I've done a little harass and gained myself 20 damage. Does 60 magic damage. It's okay. It's an RI nuke. It's not amazing. But it does make me run faster and all that good stuff. So Tommy told me to come back, and I wasn't really all about this or anything, but issue is that my movement speed is just frankly not very high. I casted the Astral Spirit on the creeps because it would increase my movement speed a bit more. And I was hoping he would get more trapped in, but really only increased my movement speed by like 9 there from those 3 creeps, so I kind of just wasted my mana there, which is fairly precious at this point. Now Jug went a bit of a greedy item build here, so because he doesn't have a huge amount of tangos, he gets kind of in a bad spot. Just gonna put some hits on him. As you can see, if I get a hero and a creep, I do a lot of damage. And I'm basically just hitting the Veno here, because if I didn't, then Dami would be pressured. And at this point, we finally get to go back and start last hitting. So I actually haven't accomplished that much here, other than my harass of my opponents. We also put the Jug at very low regen. I think he has like 1 tango left or something. Happy to cast the Spirit basically because 2 heroes, full creep wave, and harass in that sense. So with 1 point in my aura, this lowers the base armor by 40%. So if somebody has 4 armor or something, this will reduce their armor by like 1 or 2, something like that. It's okay. It's not an amazing early skill point, but it helps a little bit. For example, Jug here. He's got 4 armor. He gets close to me, it gives -1. It's not massive, but it does something. So for now, I just focus on last hitting because getting boots is really important. The Elder Titan basically is really strong in the early game, and they buffed him recently to be more like that because you're faster than everybody else. Your armor is not amazing, it's 3, it's okay, but you have a lot more damage than everybody else. So you get a damage bonus with the Astral Spirit, and you use this to right-click your opponents. And now that I have a boots advantage, I can just run after people. This is a really nice play from the Bloodseeker. He put Blood Rage on the Jug, and that allowed him to heal up. Kind of wanted to hit him more. I was really worried about getting galed here, but as soon as I ran north, I was going to be okay. Bloodseeker is just basically fast because the fact that everybody's a little bit low in HP. In a lot of cases in the past, Elder Titan would be in a solo offlane position, by the way. So playing him now is a little bit weird. I think dual lanes kind of work, but there's just much better heroes. And that's just kind of the story of Elder Titan. There's just better heroes than Elder Titan for the offlane for a couple different reasons. Like, it can be a lot of stuff like, wow, I'd rather pick a hero that can do something without farm, or I'd rather pick a hero that is good at team fighting, for example. Again, Elder Titan literally just buffs up your damage. So I made a choice here and I bought Orb of Venom. I really think Orb of Venom is the go-to item to build in most cases here. The reason is because a lot of times you're going to want to catch up to your opponents. I know my damage is big here, so I got the level 2, and Bloodseeker underestimated this. But 3 heroes plus a creep wave just because I got the level 2 Astral Spirit, and then I hit for plus 100 damage. I run way faster, and I got an Orb of Venom, which furthers my movement speed advantage over him, pretty much. So the first item I buy is going to be a Tranquil Boots, just because the armor is going to be really nice, and the regen is going to be nice. So I bought Ring of Protection in base, and the Ring of Regen in the side shop. Sometimes people will try to deny you, and for that you can use a Spirit. And if you really want to micro this well, you can basically wait to pass it through every creep to get last hits. So I got like 3 last hits with that, for example. I knew I could get that last hit because my damage was just so high. With that 2 hits, and I take out 200 HP. So I opted for a second point of my aura, which I think is still okay. Should have gotten that last hit. And then over here I'll buy a second Ring of Regen because I just wanted to keep my HP up. The second Ring of Regen is going to be for my Soul Ring. Since Soul Ring is the item you really need. You definitely, and actually, if you're playing offlane, I feel like Tranquil Boots first is the item. If you're playing like a support Elder Titan, which is possible, I think Soul Ring Rush is the way to go. But my goal right now is basically just continue to bully my offlane. Now, if you're against a tri-lane, this is a lot harder. You can outplay your opponents if you know the extent of your hero, but if they have a lot of disables, in most cases you're just not going to be able to get a kill. If they have something weak, like weak defensively, like an A for example, then yeah, you can get stuff done, but again, I don't have to go all in on him here. I can just punch him a couple times, get his HP low, and that forces him back into a defensive stance. It's kind of nice that I only have to punch like twice to do that. So there's my tranquil boots up. Pretty much already got a soul ring at this point. Without the soul ring, that is. And luckily as well, they just kind of gave up on the lane, it seems like. We were going for this kill, I just don't know if it's going to work. Yeah, the tower did hit me. Dami pointed that out afterwards, but because the tower hit me, it killed my tranquil boots temporarily. Dami's pretty screwed here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But yeah, the tranquil boots hit me. I lost like 50 movement speed. Otherwise, I probably would have killed the jug there. So that was just a little poorly planned. It wasn't really the best dive either. I could have ran a little bit faster, I think. Not the best damage, but it is slowing him a little bit. As per usual, Dami will steal a kill. The life of Dami.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Bought a flying courier because my team is useless. It's also given a clarity potion, which I really didn't want to lose. So I am kind of missing a lot of mana. Alright, and this is basically just your core as Elder Titan. Soul Ring, Orb of Venom, I'll get a TP scroll in case I get ruptured, and now I start to spam pretty much. There we go, 123 damage. Now that damage was very little to Bloodseeker, but it adds up for different reasons as well. It forces your opponents to run away from you, for example. But this damage is so good. I kind of wanted to go for that, but there was a really high chance that he'd be able to juke in the trees. I thought maybe he should have Omni-Slashed me there, but it wasn't 100%. And rather than getting my ultimate, since we didn't really have any setup here in this lane, I thought, I'll just get another level in my aura. So now I'm reducing armor by 80%, I believe. Yeah, 80%. So push out the lanes a little bit.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
See how much extra damage that did? The first raise did 243, the second one did 307. So it's actually a really big damage increase. So me just standing next to Juggernaut allowed Shadow Fiend to do an extra 60 damage. So while the damage may not be coming from me, the aura itself is making a huge difference. Now, next items that you pick up. Magic Wand is not bad. If I'm looking at the heroes here, I kind of need
Radiant's middle tower
ideally some physical survivability and maybe a cloak as well, due to them having a Venom and a Magnus. They kind of have pretty good damage. Instead of buying any of that though, I ended up going for a Drum of Endurance. Drum was buffed recently to give you a lot of movement speed, so I felt pretty comfortable going for it. Just sending my spirit through a bunch of creeps, that way I can get some extra damage. And then I'll let it pass through the creep wave as well. So now I hit for 150 basically. I would have only done like 50 damage, but instead, because I did that trick, then I get a little bit extra.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And this is pretty much just the life of Elder Titan. You sit in the lane, you cast your spirit, you hit creeps, you zone people out, and they basically just don't feel comfortable being in our lane because my damage is so high. Now Bloodseeker is getting some stuff out of the jungle by us just sitting in lane, but I think the important part is that we're also preventing the Jug's ability to farm. and very likely
Radiant's
creating
bottom tower
drama and
is
stress
under attack.
with our opponents. It's pretty much like I always have a double damage.
Radiant's bottom tower
That's a nice thing to
has
have.
fallen.
So 320 gold here.
Move done.
Got the slow on him. Started hitting the Bloodseeker. Oh, I messed that up really bad actually. I think Dami told me that I should stay because he was going to grave me, but I should have been better about my spirit. I didn't hit anybody with it. I could have microed it a bit longer, gotten some damage reduction, but as a whole, I don't think that fight was going to work. As soon as I got ruptured, I was pretty screwed here. Dami does end up surviving at least, so we got that going for us. And there's my almost drum finish. So yeah, the movement speed from the drum is really
Dire's
nice
middle
due to the
tower
fact that
is under attack.
I can chase people down easier. The overall stats that it gives is really good also.
Radiant's bottom tower
And the
is
attack
under
speed is
attack.
really welcomed when I activate the drum, because it's going to allow me to attack really fast when I have damage in. Just trying to chase down this Bloodseeker here. Do get a kill out of it. And now my aura is maxed out, so no more armor for them. If we take a look at their armor levels right now, you can see what kind of stuff. It's reducing this armor by 7, 5 armor, 7 armor, 5 armor. It's really not that bad. Bloodseeker's 8. Made a bit of a mistake here. I guess we all got RP'd. I got Gale and ultied. I feel like I shouldn't be sitting around here as much. But that's the important thing, is putting the spirit. Oh, I shouldn't be running in. Yeah, that was a miss micro. It was good that I threw my spirit in, but I needed to run home as soon as I did that, because standing around wasn't going to be helpful. So the goal is basically to keep the spirit in the middle of my opponents while my allies are fighting. I can do that for most of the time, but as soon as I got Gale ultied, I should have been playing a little bit safer than that. So a little bit of a miss micro. If you are playing Elder Titan though, you have to micro, and you have to hotkey your spirit. If you don't do that, there's no reason to play the hero, because it's too hard. And by that I mean, I basically cast spirit, and I immediately press 2, and I immediately know that my spirit is on the 2 hotkey, and then I can use that to end up killing my opponents. He's got a duel here, so just put the spirit down, and then once I get in melee range, I can pull it back. I can activate it early, it can come back when I want it. So I chose to bring it back so that I'd get bonus damage, so that I could actually start hitting him. Because I throw the spirit originally, that way any damage done to him is already amped. And then as I get in close enough for my aura, then I feel comfortable going for the bonus damage. So, should have my drum on the way now. Again, my movement speed is pretty good already at 400, but it can be faster.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And any movement speed given to my illusions is again great. My damage is bad again. A little bit of a weird smoke. Immediately we find the jug, and same thing. I'm sorry, I forgot to slow it down. Very straightforward. I cast Spirit, he duels, the jug takes an insane amount of damage, because it's basically like we have a Desolator, and we win the fight. So other items you can buy in this hero, Medallion is good because it lowers armor further. You can buy Solar Crest as well.
Dire's middle tower is under
Just using
attack.
my Soul Ring so I can get the illusion and the Spirit in position, to slow this creep wave down a little bit. And
Radiant's
anytime you
bottom
can run it
tower
past
is
heroes,
under
that's really
attack.
good. Now they can't see where you are when it's flying back, so that's something you have to be aware of when you're playing Elder Titan. And again, you send the spirit out, you nuke a creep wave, and you look for enemy heroes, if you can find them. In case you're confused, by the way, I'm not sapping damage. Whenever a spirit passes through somebody, it just does damage to them. I don't yet have my... I thought for sure that the Legion would go for that, so I threw my ulti because I anticipated following up on his duel, but he actually got hit by the Venom wards, so that is what happened. So I kind of wasted my ult, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It's a really good ultimate, but it has to land, and that's the difficult part. So, since they got a kill, they're very likely to push, which means that I'm basically going to continue city mid and try to slow this down as much as I can. Slightly off target to get that creep wave, unfortunately, but if you go the full duration, it's going to give you time to basically... Oh, there's actually so much damage that I can... Sometimes it's just good to right-click the illusion after heroes. I had the illusion there. Or the spirit, that is, but there's a very low chance of me helping. Now, if I had some stomp levels, I maybe could have saved them there. So you can maybe argue that I should have them. Because even disabling those guys for like 3 seconds would have made a huge difference. Just run into the spirit through everything.
Roshan has fallen to the down. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Been puked on. See how slow my spirit is? It's based on when you cast it, by the way.
Radiant's top tower is
So
under
that's why it's better to have tranquils up. We got the 18-minute Roche. Roared. Just realized I know. So, yeah. Isn't this fun, guys? Elder Titan, man. You sit there, and you cast the spirit. And then what do you do next? You cast another spirit. This was a decent gank. That's my bad, though. Got the disable on the Bloodseeker, but naturally extra damage. If I had a TP, I would have lived there, but I did not have a TP for some stupid reason. So I deserved to die, and this is where I started muting my team. I was like, okay. I actually muted so many people this week. I have had so many obnoxious, raging people. I have muted actually like 20 people. I played a lot of games, but I've had quite a few games where I'm like, I just literally need to mute 3 people on my team. And it works. Makes me feel a lot better while playing this, for sure. I should really have a TP squad. I'm literally alive right now, watching the fight. Still alive watching the fight. Still alive watching the fight. I 100% could have saved that Legion commander. Without question.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I realized that I walked in too close. When you're grave like this, you might as well walk. And then right before, you stop moving. So we lived. It was cool. Got out of position, focusing on the dazzle again. That's her stomp. Doesn't cost that much to cast that, so it's pretty worth it to consistently use the spell. Should have Soul Ring there, maybe. A little bit of aura. Like, that damage amp's just so important.
Radiant structures are fortified.
It's really hard to see it, honestly. You just feel like Elder Titan does nothing. And he is a little limited, but when you start killing people, he's very good.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I've again casted the spirit. I'm going Yule's, by the way, if you guys didn't figure that out yet. Yule's Scepter is a little, again, it's kind of an old school item. It may not be the correct choice, but it gives you a utility that you don't have otherwise, where you can instantly disable somebody or protect yourself. I could also justify getting a Ghost Scepter this game, due to there being a Juggernaut and a Bloodseeker. I didn't necessarily need it. Yeah, I really saw this rupture coming. I did my Earth Spirit Splitter. If only I right-clicked the Magnus, I would have killed him. I really didn't expect them to get so low, but they did. Probably because we had SF Aura and we had my Aura.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Swarms over me.
But they took so much damage. I was like, we lost, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom! We all went down to like 10%.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Ooh, excuse me. So I think one of the reasons that Elder Titan is so unpopular is, first of all, his micro is a little hard. But second of all, the hero's just not straightforward in the slightest. It's just so weird. Really easy kill there. I think Invoker may have killed Shadow Fiend if it wasn't for me. In times like that, by the way, if you feel like, oh, why am I casting Astral Spirit and why am I stomping him because my ally wants to attack him, right? You might be thinking like, why am I using these disables? It doesn't matter basically because it does damage, and it also interrupts your opponent and allows your opponent to take extra time if they need it. So in that case, we basically got extra damage. All of a sudden, Shadow Fiend's hitting harder and raising harder. And this just transitioned into a kill for us. Because it also gave us time for Shadow Fiend to position and go for a double raise. Not that he needed to, but it still did a lot of extra damage. So, with that said, Yule's is a pretty good item to grab. I can use it to dodge the silence from Bloodseeker. I can use it to throw a Magnus up in the air if he's about to skewer my teammates after an RP. There's a lot of good reasons here. So Ursa did a nice job outplaying them. The other really nice thing that Yule's provides, obviously, is that I get movement speed. And it'll give me, I think, 50 or 40 or something. 40 movement speed. Okay. It's pretty good. So now I'm running for 467. My illusion is really fast. This means that I get to run through more units. And it's a little bit easier to chase people down and all that good stuff. TPing in the tier 2 because it looks like we're going to be fighting here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Unfortunately, he TP'd just a little bit faster. I maybe should have gone for the Yule's play, but I thought it was more likely that he would be TPing deeper than that.
Safe word. Excommunicated.
This is starting to get a little scary. Okay. Kind of the same thing. Run around, spirit, sleep, occasionally punch people, rinse, repeat. Other common builds that you would get after this point would be, if you're going really farmed, you'd start grabbing an armor item somewhere, like Shiva's. You basically build kind of like hybrid utility damage, is how I would describe the Elder Titan builds. AC works amazing because you already reduce their armor by a lot, so you can reduce it further with AC, and you also give yourself a lot of survivability. And it makes you attack fast, which helps compensate for the damage bonus that you're getting from Astral Spirit. So AC is an amazing item if you're battling. Generally, you don't worry about anything that does... You don't really buy that many damage items on this here. It's really just about having utility items. Those make the biggest difference.
Gold and sweet.
Considering going back in.
Bottom tower is under attack.
I think I did that fight fairly poorly. Before Dazzle Farm.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Just trying to stomp the
Radiant's
Magnus to...
top tower is under attack.
Oh, this guy's such a fucking asshole. Like, he's playing well and stuff, but man. I feel like I should just mute everybody on my team at the start of the game, no matter who they are, almost. Cause like, even getting into a game and having like 2 people just be dumbasses right at the start, I'm just like, God. I'm like already a little tilted, you know? But if I just mute everybody, I don't know, might make a big difference. That's not good. My monitor is having some weird issues. Okay. Alright, we're good. I'm dead. There's like some issue with my power cord on my new monitor. It keeps like, I don't know, the connection might not be good or something. Speed this up because let's be real, you guys are here for Elder Titan.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Alright, another very common utility item, Heaven's Halberd. I'm picking that up next just because it helps you against Juggernaut and Bloodseeker. You prevent them from attacking for a while. It also gives you evasion. In some ways you could probably justify just making a Solar Crest. I don't know if Dami has one. He does not. You might, in a lot of ways you might be able to justify making a Solar Crest rather than a Heaven's Halberd, but the Heaven's Halberd is pretty nice because it gives you HP, gives you the main slow. It does a lot of extra things basically. It's actually something else you can do when you're pushing is you send your spirit forward, you nuke the creep wave, and then you stomp. And then the creep wave is slept for 5 seconds. And that means that it doesn't get to your tower to defend as fast. So that's always kind of a fun thing to do. Dami definitely shouldn't have been farming there. He stayed too long. Got a 2nd level in Earth Splitter now. Maybe there was a ward there because they walked up to place it basically.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I like to just make people feel uneasy with this hero basically. You just sleep him all the time. Because it only costs you like 100 mana. And if you use Soul Ring first, then you're only losing like 60 mana or something like that. To accomplish what you need to. I was able to get the Bloodseeker there. Sometimes you just gotta run people down and kill them. Looking like a good fight. Didn't really know where people were, but I assumed they would be right behind Ursa. Kinda wasted my spirit though, I probably should have left it out. So I could have used it to scout, for example. I think I got experience for this, yeah. Let's say I'm mostly playing my hero correctly here. A lot of farming, a lot of supporting my course. And just disables and general teamfight disruption. It's all very useful. It's just really hard to see it directly because it's not the same as like getting a bunch of solo kills, for example.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
So, really awful stomp, but...
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
I don't know why he orchided me, but he did. This fight looks pretty over at this point. So I run all the way home. Oop, I went back, sorry. Oh, I remember this fight now. I actually only got the jug with that. Ended up not being very useful. Except I hit really hard now. I think we got cleaned up here. Dami probably should have graved me, I think. So I'm dead for like forever. Still buying a halberd. I don't know if the halberd was the right purchase, honestly. I think it might have been better for me just to buy like a pipe or something because of the Venomancer. It also would have given me like a lot more HP regen, and then I would have been able to stay out longer.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The halberd ended up being useful, but it wasn't like what I needed, I don't think, because the jug has like no net worth at all. Jug's net worth is like, yeah, really bad. Everybody just kind of kept dying. So, yeah, it looks like their top farmed heroes of Magnus. It's not really where they want to be. They need like a carry. Well, we pressured the jug so hard this game. I mean, you could look at it a lot as jug's failings, but I feel like we pressured decently. They also didn't contest the lane. That's basically the issue with having a jungle hero like they did. They had a Bloodseeker jungle. If they have a tri-lane and we're 2, then they can definitely fight us, you know, if they have good disables and stuff like that. But they didn't, so it basically turned up to be 2 heroes versus an Elder Titan and a Dazzle, and you can actually pressure that. And there's much better heroes to offlane with, but he has an option that you can do.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
The world oozes an exquisite taste.
Yeah, the only way I lived there was if I TP'd.
Radiant's top tower
Bought a cloak
has
here because I
fallen.
was taking a lot of magic damage.
Dire's
And it
bottom
basically
tower is under
sets me
attack.
even, and then I can sell that back. Sometimes you do need to do that against the Venomancer. At this point I was basically like, I should really buy magic resistance. You know what I did? I did not buy magic resistance. All their net worths are actually very similar. It's kind of interesting. It's a weird game. It's probably because people aren't buying real support items and stuff. Who knows? No, instead I basically said like, nah, I should really make an AC because nobody has an AC, and AC is so good on Elder Titan. It's so good to have with an Elder Titan on your team. My items definitely probably look wacky though, and they are wacky. This hero is like easily one of the hardest to build, and one of the weirdest to build. Don't turn off monitor, please. I need you. So rather than buying the plate mail, I bought the Hyperstone first. You can maybe argue that this is bad. I think after playing the game, I basically decided, yeah, I think that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. But it does make farming a lot better. Helps you leverage the right-click damage that you get from your spirit.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Oh, I lost my monitor. I'm watching sideways. I'm gonna figure out what the heck's going on after this. Oh yeah, I should have slowed down. Sorry, guys. All right, let's go.
Not even a contest.
Could you guys see that the whole time, or did that get fucked up for you guys too? I actually don't even know. All right, I'm gonna go back because I didn't see that fight. Okay. So, I unfortunately didn't have my spirit. I was able to get the... I don't know why that guy woke up. That guy did instantly.
Not even a contest.
Okay. Pretty clear-cut victory there. I have just as much farm as the top farm tier on their team, basically.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Should have healed my
That one was a bit... Report Dazzle, please.
Radiant's top
My
barracks are under
god.
attack. Radiant's
This guy is
structures
literally
are
the
fortified.
cancer of the Dota community. It's the only way I can describe this one.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Go little spirit. Damn it. I hate that when you're like, I just want to hit this creep wave. And then it disappears just in time. Yeah, SF seemed pretty clearly dead there, so.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's kind of dangerous to farm here because that guy was right there, but.
bounty, which will knit you prize.
Man, this hero is so weird. You know, when he was first made, the spirit would run the opposite direction that you were running, so it was really hard to land disables on people, basically.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
To do his halberd him and then. Oh, I got an EMP there. I was wondering, I was like, where did my mana go? That was actually a really good fight by them.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
No. My camera.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The stick purpose. Not
Man, why is this guy such a piece of shit? Like, how can you be that much of a piece of shit? It's just so annoying. Oh my god. I wish that, like, somebody was, like, watching this guy play in, like, a PC cafe or something, and would just, like, tap him on the shoulder, and he turns around and just, like, slap him across the face. Be like, quit being a douchebag on the internet. Fucking grow up. I don't know, man. This guy needs to get punched or something. It's just so annoying. And those heals.
tip of the bounty.
It's funny, the late blade mail.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Everyone's so angry, man. Halberd worked out alright. In that last fight, it delayed the Omni Slash, but it wasn't that great. I don't know. I feel like the Halberd purchase was a little bad. I feel like I would have been better off going. I don't know if he has or if he has the item yet. Solar Crest. Actually, does not have a Solar Crest. I don't know. It's equivalent survivability. 25% evasion. Yeah, gives you 45 damage. That part's kind of cool. But it probably would have been better if instead of making the halberd, I made an AC. Really, I think that would have been better. My HP would be a little low. I'd be sitting like 400 HP less, 300 HP less, but I would have an AC finish. Maybe an AC cloak would have been the right build. So I feel like the halberd did very little this game. It wasn't like the halberd did not witness the game by any means. But if they were more farmed and more comparable in farm, then it could have been really useful against Juggernaut. Looks like it does do part physical and part magical. So it did two sources there. Deals and prevent halberd worked really well there.
Radiant's middle tower is falling.
Look at that damage. It's just like so high. It looks like he almost doesn't have items. And if you look at his items, he's actually decent. He's got an S and Y. He's got a talisman. I guess the talisman's kind of a good idea because if we miss, then it doesn't matter how much armor he has. But I don't know.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
He's so far behind this game, and it's so hard for him to come back because of our SF and Elder Titan.
Radiant's bottom barracks
And the
has
Legion
fallen.
helps a lot as well.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
Just gonna keep it up there for vision.
Radiant's ancient is under attack.
dazzle.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Boom, got Macy.
Dire victory.
Angry people, man. Anyways, I wish there was a stat to see, like, how much damage did you amplify this game or something like that, but it's probably a lot, really. If you, for example, like, if you reduce armor by 10, you're basically increasing your damage by, like, 60%, I think. Something like that. Or, because 10 armor gives you 60% extra survivability. So if I remove that, it's more like 1,000 divided by 1,600, whatever that is. No. 600 divided by 1,600. Let me see. Calculator. 600 divided by 1,600. It's, that's wrong. I must have typed something wrong. 37%. That's a pretty big damage amplification. So it basically makes all my carries hit like 40% harder against cores. That's such a big advantage. I don't know. Elder Titan's pretty good. You just got to learn to micro him. Go play him offlane. Buy Soul Ring Tranquils, and then build utility items. Drum, Yules, AC, Shiva's Guard. You can buy S and Y. You can go damage items, whatever that means. You can buy Ags. I don't know if I'd recommend it. It just disarms. It's really good if you can combo with something, but generally the disarm is a little unnecessary. I don't know. He's a fun hero. I like him. I play him once in a while. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.